Yeah, so that's going to be a real challenge for us, not necessarily from a military perspective, but what you have is essentially the actuaries have said we're not going to write insurance on it anymore. So there's going to have to be some physical security measures implemented if we're going to continue to see that oil transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. This is not unlike what happened in 1988 when the Iranians mined the strait, and President Reagan had to take kinetic action to not only clear that lane, but also he struck the Iranian oil platforms in the process, and that was the beginning. I mean, we had been at war with Iran since 1947. That was the predicate of what you're seeing today, and finally we have a president that says, not on my watch, we're going to do it, and end this regime and clear that Strait of Hormuz and make sure that the oil flows to the rest of the world. Is an important corridor because China gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 90% of the Iranian oil that comes through there goes to China. So this has global impact in ways that we don't even necessarily understand, but I think the president understands that he's going to do everything he can to physically secure that strait.
Which is such an important point, and I've been making the same point on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business and on this program, that this operation is so impactful to China. The president just strengthened his hand ahead of that meeting when he goes to Beijing to meet Xi Jinping on March 31st. Tell us about that. Has China been severely impacted negatively here because of that?
Well, they absolutely have, and I tell you another thing that's important to note about what's taking place as it applies to sort of isolating China, and that is the expansion of leadership in the Western Hemisphere that President Trump is engaging in, gathering these South American and Central American leaders together and establishing this American counter-cartel coalition. That is a huge step forward in really galvanizing the Western Hemisphere and reasserting leadership here at home.
Yeah, what a brilliant strategy. Okay, Mr. Chairman, everybody's worried about potential terrorism on the U.S. soil. I want to get your take on that next because the Iranians say they will avenge the killing of Khomeini. Are we safe? That's next with Congressman Rick Crawford. Stay with us.
This decorated veteran earned the Silver Star.
I had more weight on me. I was in such extreme pain. I was drinking more. I was taking more pain pills. But when
Congressman Rick Crawford, and Mr. Chairman, the question I left our audience with is, are we safe? We know that Iran wants to avenge the killing of Khomeini, and we're worried about active terrorist cells here in America. What can you tell us?
Well, what we know about the Iranian regime is there are some 30 million Shiites around the world, and I'm not suggesting that they are all terrorists, but they are aligned with this regime religiously. And what that does is provide them with a global network and their ability to reach out. We just saw a potential bombing, or it was a bombing, it may have been a terrorist attack, we think it was, in Norway at the U.S. Embassy in Oslo. So we need to be very diligent about not only our security here at home, but obviously targets around the world where there are U.S. assets, including embassies and so on. So we know that that threat is there. We know it's persistent. And what that means here at home is, number one, we have to fund DHS. We've got to get these Democrats to quit playing politics with Homeland Security because there are threats out there, and they have demonstrated a willingness to exercise on those threats. And we need to make sure that our DHS is funded so we can prevent that from happening. I am a former bomb tech, so I'm all about threat mitigation. If it happens left of boom, you can mitigate that threat. If it happens right of boom, that's consequence management. It's too late. And we need to be at left of boom posture all the time. We need to redouble our efforts on counterintelligence, and we need to fund DHS and make sure that they have the resources to address this problem.
Shame on you, Democrats.
The Democrats don't understand that. They have yet to do it. The president has made...
And shame on you, Thomas Massey.
He just is replacing Christine.
You're not... You're voting like a Democrat instead of a Republican.
Well, this is... You just touched on it. This is exactly... the pattern of Democrats. They move the goalposts time after time. They don't like Kristi Noem. Okay, they made the change in personnel. They say we want body cams. Of course, I do too. And even the officers want body cams. That indemnifies the officers as much as it helps the individuals that they're dealing with. And these are just common sense measures that they want to engage in, and they still say no to funding.
Real quick, Mr. Chairman, are you going to support the Pentagon's request for more money? Is it $50 billion?
I don't know the dollar figure, but yeah, we're going to support it. I guess what they'll probably do is make that calculation based on what we've done thus far and kind of extrapolate what they need going forward based
Okay.
on current expenditures. But yes.
All right, Mr. Chairman, great to have you. Thank you so much, Congressman Rick Crawford. That'll do it for us on Sunday
God
morning.
bless
I'll be
America.
seeing you tomorrow morning on Mornings with Maria.
Stand behind President Trump and the team. We're doing great, and we're doing what godly principles stand for.
Do you